Hi, I have YouTube here and I have Instagram here. I'm so excited. Hello and welcome. So tell me if you can hear my voice. Yeah, because it's the first time I'm doing something like this. I already did some live on Instagram, couples of live on Instagram, but I never did this like two screens. So yeah, thumbs up if you can hear my voice, especially on YouTube, because I'm using this guy here and I hope it should be working. All right, welcome. Yeah, and someone is calling from the outside, but I'm actually not in charge of this for today. So, ciao Bart, welcome. Hello, nice to meet you. Ciao Nana. I'm sorry for this. I didn't know that someone was calling so badly. All right, my dear loves, I hope you have your tea and hopefully someone is taking care of this. So I live in the third floor of a building and we are all the same family. Ciao, Nana. And that's why I'm not in charge for this, you know. I have my life, please take care of everything. So yeah, hopefully they're managing. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I have my tea. I hope you have it. I'm gonna cheer with you. Cheers, salute. And today is not actually a tea, it's my chicory coffee, which I am pretty, how do you say, addicted to. It's still very, very hot. And I'm gonna look over here and I'm gonna look over here so that we have Instagram and YouTube together. And today is the first live event that not event, but first live that I'm recording here with you. And yeah, I'm pretty excited. I want to do this every Thursday. So every Thursday, if you have the chance, come and join me for some tea where we talk about dance, art, and life. You can write me your questions and I will be here for you to talk about these subjects. You know, I am a dancer. If you've been in my world, you know, dance is my life, art is my life. And to guide you in the art life, in the dance journey, it's really my soul's purpose. So that's why I wanted to create these opportunities to do it live. So I'm going to give a theme, a topic each Thursday. And we're going to start from there, and then maybe we can catch some questions. I already see some questions which are coming from Instagram. It's how did you start belly dancing? Which is actually a very nice question because today we're going to talk also about this because the topic for today is, let me remember, it's Indian fusion. What is Indian fusion really, you know? And, you know, Indian fusion is my main style. I've been trained in belly dance, Indian classical dance, and now I really am passionate about sharing more about Indian fusion because I think it's such a beautiful, beautiful and soulful dance style. And you can see behind me, yeah, little behind the scenes, this is my son's Totoro hat, which is actually my hat from many, many years ago. And now it's Ricardo. Ricardo is my little 2 years old son. So yeah, this is what you see in the background, mama's stuff. Ciao, Carolina. Welcome. So let's start from here. Let's start from this question. How did I start? So there is a video coming up for you next week, which is all about the difference between fusion belly dance, Indian classical dance, and Indian fusion. Because if you're not like really into this world, all of these might be a little bit confusing. We use the same terminology for most of these styles, and I really wanted to create some clarification because I believe knowledge is power, and the more we can clarify our thoughts and our ideas, the more we can be creative and respectful. You know, my two pillars. Ciao Chiara, welcome. So back in the days when I started dancing, I started with belly dance, with, let's say, Raksharki first. It was Raksharki with my classical Shaki dancer, Shaki teacher, sorry. I was living in a very tiny town in Sicily, which is called Siracusa. Well, it's not that tiny, but at that moment of my life, it looked like it was so tiny because there was nothing there. You know, I was looking for courses and I couldn't find anything, but I found this belly dance teacher and I really wanted to do this. So I loved it so, so much. And then I switched at some point with another teacher, which was even more into Egyptian folklore. And I love Egyptian folklore. I love Raksharki. I love Mena dances so, so much. But at some point I met fusion belly dance and my life changed completely because fusion to me is really this dialogue that we can have with one of my private students today. We were talking about dance being a dialogue. So fusion has this quality of being a dialogue between cultures, between influences, and where we can really merge and blend different experiences, different movements all together, you know, and bringing all of this with our personal touch, with our personal take. And I think it's so, so beautiful and such an artistic, beautiful dance style, which I'm so in love with, and you know that. But at some point, what happened to me, and that's what also I was talking about in the last YouTube video. So if you missed that, go check that. What happened to me is that I felt I was, you know, like I reached kind of a plateau in my dance journey, not technically, because I don't feel technically I will ever reach, you know, perfection is only for gods and goddesses. I'm still working on my technique daily, but I reached some kind of a plateau in the sense of inspiration. You know, I was feeling like uninspired. I was feeling that fusion was not giving me, like, was not nurturing my soul anymore. And of course, this refers to me, and it might refer to you or not. So we're all different, and that's the beauty of it. But it definitely happened to me. And that's when I met my Indian classical dance teacher, Nuria Salagrao, my guru, which I will forever be grateful for. And that's where dance nurtured me back, because Indian classical dance is such a beautiful art form, such a complex and rich artistic art form, where you not only study dance, but you study the culture, you study the language, you study the mythology, you study, there are so many layers. And it's so, so empowering as a dancer to be so focused on this, like sucking the nectar of art, really, from this beautiful art form. And to me, it was such a beautiful, beautiful moment and experience to get to know this dance style. And that's when what happened is that my fusion belly dance and my Indian dance started to merge. And that's where I started to experiment into Indian fusion, which is another stylization where Indian dance is so predominant. So this is my story, like really in a nutshell. I will talk about this a little bit more in details in my next video, which is coming up next Tuesday. So be ready for that. It's going to be a juicy one. And today I want to go a little more deeper into what is Indian fusion, you know, because I think it's such a newly formed dance style, even more, maybe more new than fusion belly dance. And I think we need to, get again clarification. First thing first on what is not. So I actually have my notes here because I wanted to be ready to share those with you. Ideas on what it's not, like Indian fusion, what it's not. I'm gonna have my notes here. And then if you want to add something, just please be with me on the chat. I will be happy to share that with you. So first thing first, what is not? What is not Indian fusion? It's not a collage. How do you say? Not college, but collage. Sorry for my Italy English. When you put together things that feels good just because they feel good. And I think this applies to fusion as well. But specifically for Indian fusion, we really want to be mindful on what we are mixing together, because unfortunately, no, the answer is no, we cannot mix what we don't know. So the beauty of Indian fusion is that, like in Indian classical dance, you will not only learn a beautiful technique that will enrich your dance vocabulary, but you will also step into such a beautiful world, cultural world. So you will know about Indian music and Indian, again, mythology, Indian culture. There are all these beautiful layers that you will adore, because they will bring so much, not only artistry, but also inspiration for your performances, for your training. All of that will be informed by this deepening of your cultural studies. And I think it's such a beautiful way to, again, nurture our dance souls. At least for me, I'm a geek. I love to study, and I love to go in depth on what I love. And Indian fusion gives you that, for sure. So it's not, again, a collage, a mix of stuff. And it's not about adding Indian flavor on top of Indian fusion. So I always tell my students, it's not like you're doing, I don't know, whatever, arms undulation, then you put mudra on top of that, and that's it. I mean, you can. There is no fusion police, of course. You can. Please do it if you like it. But to me, it's like, it's like you're missing the point, and you're also missing the chance to go in depth, And if you're here and if you love what we love, is because we want depth, right? We want to move deeper, to know our bodies deeper, our dance deeper, Because if we just move on the surface, what's the point? We might just go to the gym, and just work out, But if we want to dance, let's have some deeper layer. Let's add a deeper layer to that. So again, it's not about arms undulations with mudras or Maya with mudras. Hello, Samantha. So good to have you here. I love you so much. So it's not about that, right? We want something deeper. And it's really about bringing together structure on some point. Hello, my dear. I love you. Mwah. I love Samantha. And if you don't know Samantha, Samantha is the reason why I'm here. One of the reasons why I'm here is Samantha Emanuel. Go check her work. So on one side, you want structure. And on the other side, you want freedom. And these two, they're not competing to each other. Another myth that I want to debunk here is not like, okay, well, if I do Indian fusion, I need to really study and really get my body into a structure, and my freedom will be less. It's not something like that. We have to get out from the binary of our mind, one versus the other one. These two, the structure and the freedom, they actually go together, because the more you have structure, the more you can access. It's like it's really like a tree. The more you can access the roots, the more you can grow up in the air, you know? And so the more you can access the structure, and so you know the geometry of the body, the positioning of the body, the language of your hands, the language of your eyes, the more you have that structure in you, the more you can experiment on top of that structure, and you can find your own way to develop and ideas and inspiration and have your own way to express, right? And that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of having these two collaborating together. So another thing I want to debunk is not about structure versus freedom, but it's structure that gives you freedom. It's another way. So my dance guru used to tell me, in the extreme control of the body, you are free, which is crazy. When I was listening to this first, I was like, what? What do you mean with that? But now, if I think about that now, I'm like, yes, she was so right. In the extreme control of the body, I am free because I'm free to express, because I have that structure, those roots that support me in my freedom of expression. So I know it sounds crazy maybe, but believe me, that's so true. And it's something that you have to feel in your body. You know, all of these are like words. So it's like, yeah, of course, I'm just talking. We're having our tea or chicory coffee. But this is something as a dancer that you want to feel in your body, inside your body. Yes, Nana says, interesting. Yes, I know. Thank you so much. I'm just, a filter for this. I love it. And Kate says, and it's really interesting. I've never heard it before about control. I know. And it's one of the reasons why I feel that Indian fusion is such a beautiful way to nurture, not only if you want to be an Indian fusion dancer, but also as a fusion dancer in general. Indian fusion gives you that structure that it's really rooted in the Indian dance traditions, and that again allows you to explore with more freedom. Deepika, so good to see you here. So many friends. I'm so grateful to have you here. So let me see my notes. So let's debunk that. We're not blending things just because they feel cool. We're not adding Indian flavor, on top of arms undulation or a Maya. Samantha says, freedom through constraints. Yes, Sam, I love you. Exactly. And another thing is, again, we're not structure and freedom, they go together and they actually support and integrate them together. And I feel that really structure is the root of your freedom. And then I want to add something more to this. That Indian fusion is another myth, you should look mystical, spiritual, or, you have to have your Indian sounds to dance on. Well, no. Indian fusion is not about how you look or about how your music choice sounds like. And it's not about dressing up in a certain way or showing in a certain way. At least for me, again, this is my point of view. It's Indian fusion for me is it's about not how you look or how your music sounds, but it's more from where you move. What is your starting point? Is your starting point performative? Is your starting point, okay, I'm going to decorate, I'm going to do this and this and this, and this is my goal, and this is what I want to say? Or you're starting from a place of, let me use this word, devotion and offering. And here, just please remember, devotion doesn't mean religious. An offering doesn't mean that I have to believe in something. It's not about or any of this stuff, because devotion to me is really a way we inhabit our dance in service of something which is greater, and then call it as you want it. You can call it, you can call it spirit, you can call it the consciousness, you can call it, yeah, my light just went off. There's a big storm outside, so maybe power is off, but the computer is on. And it's back. So you can call it as you want, but to me, when I do like Indian fusion, and this is really informed by Indian dance traditions, when I do Indian fusion and I dance Indian fusion, is because I'm doing from a place of deep devotion to the art form, to the audience, and to something which is greater than all of that, And again, you can call it as you want. If you ever felt there is something beyond what you see in the world or what you perceive in the world, you give it a name, and that's it. That's what we're talking about. So just to recap, it doesn't have to look spiritual. It doesn't have to be with an Indian sitar, because I'm doing Indian fusion. It doesn't have to be or look or sound in any specific way. You have that freedom to choose what suits best the purpose of your dance regarding your costume, music choice, or movement. But really what is important to me and what is central to me is from where you are dancing. Are you dancing from a place of inhabiting your body with grace so that you can offer your dance to something which is greater than all of this? If you're doing this as a devotional act, which is again not a religious act, it's something which is deeply connected with who you are as a human being, well, that to me is the perfect starting point for an Indian fusion dance. And then you, of course, will have access to all the vocabulary and all the structure that we already talked about, but it doesn't have to look in a certain way in order to be Indian fusion, And I think this is very important also when we talk about integrity, when we talk about fusion, not as appropriation, but as a creative hybrid style. And again, you don't want to look like in order to sound like Indian dance, in order to be respectful and integrate Indian elements in your dance. It's such a different, and just a different perspective. So my power went off again. And I want you to see actually the beautiful storm outside of the window. Just look at this. If it feels it's calm, maybe you cannot see that. But yeah, it's just, there is a lot of light. But let me tell you, the sky is so black. so black. And it's coming back. So, thank you so much for being here. I hope I gave you some seeds of inspiration. And let's just recap all of that together. So it's not a collage of stuff. It's not about Indian flavor on top of fusion belly dance. It's not about creating this struggle between control and freedom, structure and expression. But actually, these are all things that go together. They integrate each other, and it's not about looking in a certain way or sounding in a certain way. And yeah, I actually wrote so much, but I think these are the main ideas that I wanted to share with you. And if you have any questions, I'm here. Otherwise, I will just send you a big, big hug. And again, I'm going to cheer on you for being here and share this talk with me. Thank you so, so much. I love you all. And I'll see you next Thursday for the next live. Just remember that on Tuesday we have I will upload the next YouTube video, and I can't wait to hear from you, your thoughts about it, and I can't wait to connect with you more. And if you don't know, I have a Facebook group which is called Fusion Belly Dance Tips and Inspiration for Dancers and Lovers. And if you're on Facebook, I recommend you to join the group so that we can connect even further. Otherwise, you can find me on Instagram or on YouTube. And yeah, sending love to you, hearts to you, my dear dancers. Keep practicing, keep dancing, keep being beautiful as you are. And I'll see you next week for the next live. Thank you. Mwah. Ciao, ciao. Ciao.